Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of our 15 days free training program on Python for AI. Before we move on to day 3, let's quickly recap what we learned on day 1 and day 2. So, on day 1, we learned about Python, so the history of Python and how it evolved. Just a second, people. So, we've learned about how Python is widely adopted and popular. And then we've learned about the history of Python and how it evolved through the years and its versions. Yeah, the first version and the second version, and then we have third version, which is widely used right now for software development and in many fields. And then we got to know about the key features of Python. So there are 12 features which makes Python very popular and widely adopted. And then we've learned about applications of Python. Python is used in a lot of fields like artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, gaming, software development, and in the back end of any software. And also it is used for creating games. And then we've learned about the popular third party libraries, which are NumPy, Pandas, Scikit-learn, and Matplotlib, etc. And then we got to learn about the Python literals. So literal is nothing but fixed data. So this data is used to give to your programs to run. So without the data, your programs cannot run. And there are four types of literals, namely integer literals, float literals, and string literals, and others. And then we've learned about the identifiers. So these are the unique names we give to these literals. And then we've got to learn about variables. So variables are nothing but the identifiers whose values keep on changing. And these variables will point to your objects which has your values or the data. So variable consists of the references pointing to the objects which consists of your values or your data. And then we got to learn about rules of writing variables. There are 6 rules. And moving on, we got to learn on day 2 about the data types. So we understood what data types are and why they are so important. So data types tell you the type of value you're storing, and also it is used in a memory allocation, and it is also has 14 types mainly, and these are then divided into 6 categories. So that's the classification of it. And we mainly learned about fundamental data types yesterday. So that is int, float, bool, and complex. So int values are nothing but your decimal numbers like 10, 20, -50. And float are nothing but the real constant values or the values which have floating points like 3.14, -2.5, etc. And when it comes to Boolean values, the values are true and false. So all non-zero values and non-empty strings are considered true, whereas all zero values and empty strings and empty collections are considered as false. And then we've got to learn about complex. So complex consists of a real plus imaginary part. So the real part is written as just a number, integer number. And when it comes to the imaginary part, we have the imaginary value, it is a j. So j is the square root of -1. So internally, these values, real and imaginary values, are considered as floats only. And then moving on, we've learned about the number systems in Python, that is mainly in the int data type. So we've learned about the decimal numbers, and also we've learned about binary, that is 0 and 1. And then we got to learn about octal. So 0 to 7 are the digits in octal. So octal doesn't consist of 8 and 9 and goes to the hexadecimal. We have 0 to 15 digits or the numbers. So 0 to 9 we have the numbers, and from 10 to 15 they are written as alphabets. So 10 is A, 11 is B, 12 is C, 13 is D, 14 is E, and then 15 is F. So A to F we have the values in hexadecimal. And then we also learned how we can convert the decimal number to binary number, and then binary to decimal. And also we learned decimal to octal and octal to decimal. We also learned how we can convert decimal to hexadecimal and hexadecimal back to decimal numbers. We also learned how we can convert binary numbers to octal and also binary to hexadecimal, and then octal to binary and octal to hexadecimal, and also hexadecimal to binary and hexadecimal to octal. So we've learned all type of the conversions in these number systems. And then we have the functions which directly produces the value of these conversions, like the binary function, which converts any other number system values to binary values. And then the oct function, which converts any number system values to octal number system. And then we have the hex function, which converts any number system values to hexadecimal number systems. And then we learned about some typecasting functions. So any value can be converted into integer value using the int function, and any value can be converted into float value using the float function. And then we have bool function. This converts any value to the boolean data type. And then we have the complex. So this converts any value to complex data type. And then we also learned about the practical usage of these data types, and we performed some data operations and conversions in the program. So now yesterday we've learned how to store a single value. But tell me, can you store your full name in integer data type, or can you store any entire sentence in float data type? No, right? So that means we need something that stores multiple values in order. So if we want to store a sequence of values, like for example, a name or a sentence or a list of numbers or some range of values, we need something to store these values, right? So that is exactly what we are learning today. We are going to learn about the sequence category data types. So in AI, there are texts. You work with texts and you work with images and data sets and indices and data programming, sorry, pre-processing, right? So the texts are the strings here, and images are saved in bytes. So today's topic is not basic, it is the foundation of AI. So we need to learn about sequence category data types, and it is very important. So please carefully listen to the class. Now let us understand what are the types of sequence category data types. So mainly, the main purpose of sequence category data types is to store sequence of values. So it stores the values in order. So there are four data types in sequence category data types. They are string or str, and then we have bytes, and we also have byte array, and then we have range. So before learning about each of them, let's learn about a very important concept, that is mutability and immutability. So mutability or mutable objects means the objects which you can change without changing memory address. So the mutable objects means you can change these objects without changing the memory address. So one object is said to be mutable if you modify it and in the same memory address location itself, the modification will be changed. So some examples are list, set, dictionary, and many more. So the updations will be done in the same address. If you change that object, the updations will be done in the same address. So that is said to be a mutable object. So you can modify it in the same address location. And moving on to immutable or immutable objects, you cannot change the object in the same memory. So if you try to change it, new object will be created in the new memory address. So immutable objects are the objects in which they'll never allow us to do the changes and updations in the same address. So if changes happen in the same variable or object, what happens is new object will be created in a new memory address. So if you modify, new memory will be created. For example, we have int values, float values, boolean and complex. So let's say x equals to 10. So this 10 value will be stored in some M1 location, like the memory address M1. But if you do x equals to 20, this will be stored in another location. So m equals to 2. It is the same variable, but it will point to different memory locations when you change the value. So the memory address will be changed. So it's not the same one. So when you change the value of the immutable objects, that will be stored in a new memory address, but the updation will not happen in the same before address. So these objects are called immutable objects. Then moving on. Now let us know what is a string. So string is not just a text. It is actually sequence of characters. It is sequence of characters stored in an order. So string is actually the sequence of characters stored in an order. So the purpose of string is to store sequence of characters. So strings are immutable objects. So if you try to change it, that will be stored in a new location. In the same old memory address, the object cannot be updated. So this is immutable. You cannot change the values. So strings are immutable for performance and security. So we can store two types of string data. They are single line string data and multi-line string data. Or you can say single line strings and multi-line strings. So single line strings are nothing but the string data which is enclosed within either single quotes or double quotes. So let's take a word hello. If I enclose this in single quotes, that is a single line string. And also if I enclose it in double quotes, that's a single string as well, single line string. So when it comes to multi-line string data, it is nothing but it is enclosed within either triple single quotes or triple double quotes. So if I just have a single line, I can just use single quotes or double quotes. But if I want to put multiple lines in a string value, what I can do is I can use single, triple single quotes at the starting and at the end, or I can use triple double quotes. So double quotes, I'll use 3. Okay. So in this way, I can store a string value in a single line string or a multi-line string. The operations which I can perform on a string value or string data type is indexing and slicing. So indexing is nothing but obtaining single value or a character. So let's just write it. Indexing means obtaining single value or a character. So that is indexing. And when it comes to slicing operation, it is nothing but obtaining a range of characters or you can call it a substring. So let's say I take some string hello. So I want to obtain only the h. So what I can use is I can use indexing in that condition and I can obtain your single values. But if I want to get LLO from the string, I want to obtain 3 letters at once or 3 characters. So I can use slicing operation then. So indexing means obtaining single values or character and slicing means obtaining range of characters or substrings from a string. So from a main string, I can obtain range of characters or a substring. So this continuous characters is a substring for me. Okay. Now, what is a str or string function? So str, this is a string function. The syntax of this is str of object. So what this function does is it will convert a value into a string. So when I want to convert any of the values like int or float or boolean or complex, I can use the string function to convert all those data types into a string data type. So this is a built-in Python function. So what I can do is I can give, let's say, some variable a equals to 10. Okay. So what I'll do now, I can just directly print the str of a. So what will be the output is the integer value will be given in as a string. Or what I can do is I can give another variable and for that I can assign the str of a and I can print that variable also. So in both ways we can do, we can directly print it or use another variable and whatever value you give here and you convert with str to a string, then the output will be the value in a string. So it will be given in quotes. Okay. So now let's take some example where your string is a Python. So your string here is Python. Let's say I'm taking name, a variable as Python. So here Python is not just one character, right? So it is a sequence of characters. So character is nothing but this single letter. So this is not a single letter, right? It has a sequence of characters. So think of a string like some train with compartments, okay? So your train will be divided into bogies, right? So let's think of this string as a train with compartments. So each compartment will hold one character each. Like you can see here. So in the first compartment, you have your first character, and in the second compartment, you can have your second character, and in the third, you can have your third character, and the fourth, H, and then fifth, it is O, and then in the sixth, it is N. So if you have all your character, like your string Python, as if you take it as a train, so each letter is sitting in its own compartment, like P, Y, T, H, O, N. Okay. And here, indexing is like seat numbering. So this is sitting in the first, right? So the indexing is just like seat numbering, or in our case, compartment numbering, let's say. But here, indexing or the positive indexing, it will start from left to right. So it will always start from 0 and it won't start from 1. Okay. The first compartment or your seating will start from 0 and it will move on till the length of that string minus 1. So here we have Python. So this string length, you can find length of any function using len, okay? So length of any object you can find with this len function. What this does is it will count how many characters are there in this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there are 6 characters. So your length is 6. So we need to have 6 compartments, right? So as we are starting the first compartment with 0, you will keep the second one as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the last compartment will be your length minus 1. That is here 6 minus 1, 5. So as the length of this string is 6, your indexes will start from 0 and it will end at 5. Okay, so positive indexing will be from left to right. And there is also negative indexing, which we do from right to left, okay? So there's negative indexing, which we'll do from right to left. So this negative indexing, why it exists? Because negative indexing helps us when we want to access the elements from end without knowing its length. So if you see at this string, we know the length. Length is 6, right? There is some string, we don't know the length. So we want to access the last element. So if you want to access elements from the backward direction, you can use negative indexing. So negative indexing will start from the end element from minus 1. So here negative indexing won't start from 0. It will start from minus 1 and it will go on till the first element. So we have here minus 1 and then minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5 and minus 6. So in this way your negative indexing will be done from right to left. So when you have the letters Python, it has length 6. So we'll start from first 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these are the positive indexings. And when we are going from right to left, that is negative indexing, will start with minus 1 always. And then you will keep on going with the values till you reach the first element. So this is very important for slicing. Here, so you got to know strings are immutable, right? So you cannot change a character directly. So if I try here some s variable equals to Python, let's say. So I cannot do s of 0. So 0 means the first element. So I want to change p. So s of 0 I want to change with some letter, say a. So we'll get an error here because strings are immutable. So why strings are immutable? Just think of strings like some exam hall ticket, okay? So you cannot change just one letter in your exam hall ticket, and you cannot just say that's the same original number because the number will change, right? So that will be referencing to other person in your exams. So you cannot change your string values. If you modify it, it will become a new value which is stored in new location. If you change your hall ticket number, it will refer to other person, right? In the same way, it is with the strings. If you change it, Python will create a new object in the memory location. So strings are immutable. You cannot just change one value or a substring of values, okay? Then moving on. So now we're gonna know about the string methods. So firstly, the upper function. So this is used to convert any string into uppercase letters. So let's say your variable is s equals to Python, okay? So I want to convert this into uppercase values. So uppercase means all the capital letters. So if I want to change this into uppercase values, what I should do? I should use upper function s dot upper. This will give your output, that is Python in all capital letters. So why this function is used, you may ask. So this function is used for formatting. So when you want to format your characters in your data, you can use upper function. And then we have the opposite of upper function is the lower function. This will convert your string into lowercase letters. So let's say we have a string. Let's take mixed values, okay? Or let's say we are taking all capital letters, anything. So I want to convert these strings into all lowercase letters or small letters. So what I should do is I should use s dot lower. That will give you the output all small letters Python. So it will give all the small letters. So this function, the lower function, is used for case sensitive comparison. Sorry, case insensitive comparison. So if I want to compare some word with, let's say when we use the control H find function or replace function, we have some options like comparing the whole words or comparing only like exact words should be same, or just we can ignore the case and you can check for words, right? There are like two options if you see in VS Code or and other options also. There are something like this. So exact word should be same. So if I want a word Python from my document, if I want it to be the exact same, I can give this way. Or if I want Python in all capital letters also, so the equation would be same. If I want only this, and I can use this lower function in that case. So if user gives my value in any way, I want to compare it with lowercase Python. What I can do is I can convert this user's value with lower, and then I can compare it with the word I want. So if I want in case insensitive comparisons, I can use lower function. So to compare words without thinking about the case, uppercase, lowercase, or mixed case, I can use lowercase function. And then moving on to len function, which is used to return the total number of characters in a string, or basically to get the length of your string, or else the number of characters in your string. Okay, so length function is used in this way. So length of, I gave the string Python. So the number of values or the characters are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 6 values. So that we got the value 6 as the output. If let's say I have a value high. So I want to find the length of this variable. So what I can do is I can assign this length of a to some variable, or I can just print it this way. So I'm assigning to some variable. So I want print b. So what will be the output? It will be 2. As I have only 2 characters, it will be 2. Or I can just use print of length of a, and that will give my length of a also. Directly you can print, or else you can assign it to a variable also. So why these functions are useful? So these are useful for text formatting and data cleaning, and also when we want to check. So the validation checks, and also case insensitive comparisons like the lower function is used. And we can also use them for login systems, and also for text pre-processing. Okay, so in this way we can use this. Now let's just look at the code of string. So here we have sequence category data type. In that, I want to use age of, so age I have given as 20. So I want to print this age as my age is 20. So here it won't print exactly, and it will give syntax error because here age is an integer value, right? So let's know the type of age here and print it. So here age is int value. And when you see here, the my age is a string value, right? So you can use for a print function when you want to print the combinations of this. In this way, you can add a plus sign in between and you can print. But here they are in two different data types. So this is a string data type and this is an int data type. So this will not print and it will get an error. So what you should do is we've got to learn about the string function, right? So you can use that string function, and in that way I can print it. So here this is also a string value and this is also a string value. So as the both of them are string values, we'll get the output neatly. So the string function can be used in this place. And as we learned, a single line string data. So this is enclosed in single quotes or double quotes. So we have is variable equals to double quotes Python. So we'll print this, and S is Python. So we got the output Python, and the type of S here is str, class str. So this is a string value. And then we have single quotes. So we have the string value in a single quotes. So that will work as well. And when we try to print S, we will get the exact value, and then still this is a class string. So this is a string data type. Even if we try to print a single letter, so that is still a string. and this is a string data type. And moving on, so this is a little long string or a sentence. So this can be enclosed in single quotes, and when you try to print it, you will get it neatly, and the class of it is string. And if you want to save multiple lines of data in a string, you can either use triple double quotes or triple single quotes. So in this way, you can enclose your data in triple double quotes or triple single quotes. Single quotes and double quotes. Okay. So we have the address here. So the creator's address, we have Guido van Rossum, house number, and Red Seaside, PSF, Netherlands. So this is our string, and I want to print that string. So we are printing a multi-line string here. So as you can see, we got this string, and that is in a string data type. And then moving on to the second example, we have James Gosling, another guy. And we are assigning that multiple line string, which is in triple single quotes, to address 2. So I'll run this, and this address is assigned to, or the string is assigned to this variable address 2. And if I try to print it, the string will be neatly printed, and this is the class string. You can use these triple single quotes and triple double quotes for both single line data or single line string or multi-line string also. So basically this triple single line quotes or double quotes, we can store both single and multi-line string data. So this will work with single line also. So as you can see, we've used triple double quotes and we got the output, and this is the class string. And we also can have a single character, and you can use the triple single quotes for that as well. So this will work for single line string and multi-line strings also. And moving on to the operations of strings. So firstly, the indexing, which is the process of obtaining a single value or a character from a given string. So the syntax of this indexing is, you should take your string object or just the variable name you've given, and you should take square brackets. Inside of these square brackets, you should mention the index. So in this way, you can perform indexing. So this index value can be positive or negative, because we have positive indexing from left to right and negative indexing from right to left, right? So the value can be positive or negative. But if the index is invalid, we will get an index error. If it is valid, we will get the exact value of that index only. So here we have a string Python. So let's neatly write it first. So this is our string s equals to Python. So let's write its indexing. So the positive indexing should start from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And the negative indexing, it will start from -1. And then moving on, -2, -3, -4, and -5. And lastly, -6. Okay. So here I'm trying to print s of 3. So your variable name is s and your index is 3. This is a positive index. So you'll go from left to right. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So s of 3 will print h value. Let's just print it and see what it gives. So we got s of 3, that is a h value. And moving on in the same way, so we have s of -2. So this is negative indexing, right? So you'll move from right to left. So -1 is for n and -2 is o. So we are taking this value of o. So -2 refers to o. So as h is 3 is h, -2 will be o. Okay. and S of minus 4. So minus 4 means we should go from right to left. So minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and minus 4. So minus 4 will refer to T here. So the character T. So T will be printed if you run this. And then coming to S of 2. So 2 means positive index. So I will go from left to right. So it is 0, 1, 2. So 2 refers to T again here. So S of 2 will be T. Okay. And then moving on, S of 12. So if you see here, the length of your S will be 6, right? So we have 6 characters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So 12. So the index 12 we don't have anywhere. So this is out of range. So when we have, so the last index or ending index is 5. So if we try to access 12th element, we will get out of range error. Okay. So your last index or ending index should be length of your string minus 1 only. That is 6 minus 1, which is 5. You can access any element from 0 to 5, but you cannot access elements outer than this. So here I am trying minus 12 also. In negative indexing also, we don't have any minus 12 here, right? So we only have from minus 1 to minus 6. So this is also out of range. So let's just try printing this and we will know and understand it better. So first, S of 3 is H. So we got the H. And S of minus 2. So we got O because that is the minus 2 index position. And S of minus 4. So S of minus 4 is T as we understood. And then S of 2 is T again. So in the positive indexing, T is at the positive 2, and when it comes to negative indexing, T is at minus 4 position. Okay. And if we try to print this, we will get an index error. As we used the index which is out of range, so string index out of range, we will get index error. And same for this, in the negative indexing, S of minus 12 we are trying to get, that is also out of range. So the string index out of range, this is the index error. And then moving on. So this indexing is not safe for out of range values. When you try to access out of range values, we'll get index error. And then moving on to slicing. So slicing is the process of obtaining range of characters or substring from a given string. So that is called in slicing, right? So slicing, we have few syntaxes. We can use it differently. So we have 5 syntaxes. Firstly, the string object. So the string or variable name, and it will have beginning index or the start index is to end index or the stop index. So from where you want and where you want to stop, we'll be giving the both indexes. So in this syntax, it gives elements from beginning index to the end index minus 1 values. So here the ending index is excluded. If I say I want some S of 2 is to 5, okay? I'll only get the values from 2, 3 and 4. So the fifth index will be excluded. So we'll only get the values from beginning index, that is 2, till the end of index minus 1. So 5 minus 1 is 4, right? So we'll only get the values 2, 3 and 4. When I try to print 2 is to 5, I'll only get the values 2, 3, 4. So the indexes, I'm telling about the indexes. So if we take the example of Python again, so we'll have the positive indexing and then the negative indexing. So if I want to print 2 is to 5, so 2 is to 5 will be the values from here to here only. So the 5, that is the index will be excluded. So we'll only get the values 2, 3, 4. That is T, H and O. So our output will be only these values from 2 to 4, that is T, H, O. So this will be our output in this case of syntax. I'll quickly erase it. And also here, the beginning index should be less than end index. Otherwise, we won't get any output. When we are writing S is to the beginning index is to the end index, your beginning index should be lesser than your end index. Otherwise, we'll not get any output. So here you can see we have Python S is equal to Python. So I want to access the elements from 1 is to 4. So 1 is to 4 means I'll only get elements from 1 to 4 minus 1, right? So fourth index value is excluded. So 1 to 3 only. That is 1, 2, 3. So 1 to 3. What are the values of 1 to 3? Y, T, H. So only Y, T and H will be printed in your output. So let's try printing this. So as you can see here, only Y, T, H is printed. So moving on, 2 is to 5. So we did this just now. 2 is to 5 means we'll get values from 2 to 4 only. The fifth index will be excluded. So the values will be 2, 3, 4. So these indexes values only will be printed. That is T, H and O. So the output will be T, H, O. Let's try printing it. So that will be T, H, O. Okay. So one thing you need to know about slicing is this is safe from out of index, out of range error. So we tried with indexing, right? It will get an index error when the value of your index is out of range. But in slicing, this is safe from out of range. So what happens with slicing is when you try for the same string, let's say it will start from 0, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So here I'm trying to print 0 to 6. But let's say I want to print 0 to 7. So what anyone can think, as this 7 is out of range because there is no 7 here, we will get some error, we'll think. But slicing is safe from this out of range error. What it will do is, it will check your length internally, it will check the length. So length is 6, right? So it will check the maximum index. Maximum index for this string is 6 minus 1, that is 5. So internally what it will do is, it will print till the values which are available. Okay, I wanted to print till 0 to 7, but there are no 6 and 7 letters or characters, right? So what it does is, it will print from 0 to 7 only, but all the available values it will print. It will check the max value and till there it will print your values. So if I try here, let's say 0 to 7. Okay, I'll run the code. So as you can see here, we don't get any out of range error. It will print till the values which are available. So when I give 7 or 8 or 10 or 12, so till 5 index only values are available in Python. So this value. So till which value it is available for it, it will print till there. It will check the max or the end index and it will print till the available values. Even if you give 7 or 12 or 100 also, it will give only the available values it can give. In the same way, let's find other values also. Okay. So now I try to find 4 is to 6. So 4 is to 6 means what values will be? 4 and 5 values only will be taken. So 4, 5 is ON. Here you can see 4 is to 2. So I said you before, right? Beginning index should always be less than end index. Here 4, which is beginning index, is less than 2. No, right? It is not less. So we will not get any input here. So first let's run this 4 is to 6. So that is on as we predicted. And when we try to print, we won't get any output here because your beginning index is higher or greater than your end index. So that will not print any output. In the same way, let's move on to the next values. So here we have -6 is to -4. So now I'm trying to get my substrings with negative indexing. Okay, as you can see here, negative values -6 is less than -4, obviously, right? So this is fine. It will print output. So -6 is to -4 means it will give the values from here to here. So we got P and Y. So same as positive indexing, when it comes to negative indexing also, it will give from the beginning to the end index -1 elements only. So end index is -4, so -1 will be -5. So in the negative indexing also that will work. So it will exclude the end index, it will print the value still end index -1 only. That is -6 and -5 only it will print. So -6 is to -4 will give you PY. So these both values. So that is what we got here, as you can see. And then moving on, -5 is to -1. So I want -5 is to -1. So what values will get? -5, -4, -3, -2. -1 will be excluded, right? So here, what will happen? From -5, which is beginning index, I'll get all the values till -2, which is -1, -1. So that is the end index -1, which is -2. So end index will be excluded, and for that before element only it will print till that before element. So we'll get Y, T, H, O. So let's see what we'll get. So as you can see here, we got Y, T, H, O. And then moving on. So we are trying to print -4 is to -1. So what will happen here? -4 is to -1. So it will print values from -4, -3, -2 only. So -1 will be excluded. So it will print THO. So that is the output we got here, THO. And then moving on, the syntax, second syntax. So the second syntax is string object begin index is to no end index is given in this. So if you find, so the syntax will be range of characters from beginning index, and the beginning index will give, and end index will be a default. Defaultly it will take the last character. Till the last character it will take. So that is your length minus till the last character it will be taking. So that's a default value. So when I try to print here, this is Python, and I'm printing from 2 is to no end index is given. So if we try to write it, Python, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from 2, I've given the beginning index, but there's no end index. So till the available elements, it will print. available characters. So 2 to the end of index, that is THON. So that is the output we got, THON. And moving on, we've given 4 is to nothing. So 4 is here index, until the last end of the string it will print, that is O and N. If you try printing it, you'll get ON, as you can see here. So we got ON. And then 3 is 2. As it's the same. So from 3 it will print till the end of the string, that it will print HON. We'll print the third one. So we got HON. So if you see here, we are trying to print a beginning index, that is 0, and no end index. So as there is no end index, from 0 it will start here. 0 to till the end of the string. So that's the default. So till the end it will take PYTHON. All the letters are printed. And also you can use the negative indexing. So here I'm trying to print -6 is to nothing. So if I print again the same thing. So from -6 it will take values till the end. So it will print all the characters which is PYTHON Python, all the string. If I try to print from -4, it will take from 4 till all the last values. So it will print THON. If I take -5 is to nothing, then it will print -5 to till the last. So -5 till the last will be YTHON. And if I take -2 to till the last, so for this, I'll be getting ON. If I try to run this, so as you can see, THON is your output for printing from -4 to till the end of the string. And if I print -5, I'll be getting -5 to till the end of the string, which is YTHON. And if I try to print -2 is to, so from -2, it will print till the end of the string, that is ON. And then moving on to this third in syntax. So in this syntax, we have, in the before syntax, we have begin is to default value for end index, right? Will not have any value. So in the same way, we have for the third syntax, it is the opposite. We'll give only the end index and will not give the beginning index. Here, the beginning index is defaultly 0 value. Begin index will be 0. Okay. So the elements will be given from the beginning index to, as we mentioned, the end index will be excluded, right? So till the element before the end index element will get. So that is end -1. This is same. We'll take Python and positive indexing and negative indexing. Okay. So here we are trying to print no beginning index -4. So by default, that is treated as 0, right? So 0 is to 4. So from 0, 4 will be excluded and till here it will be printing. So the output will be PYTH. So let's try printing this. So we got PYTH. And when it comes to the next one, so from the default beginning index, that is 0. So 0 to it will print till the element before the element having third index. So this third index will be excluded and it will print 0, 1, 2. So that is PYT. Okay. And then we have S square brackets is to -4. Okay. So here, think what it will print. So it will print from the beginning index. So basically, if you take the positive values, it is 0. But if you take the negative indexing, the beginning index will be -6 here. So when it comes here, so it will take the starting index as the beginning index, either positive or negative indexing. It will take the starting index as the beginning index, and then it will move on till the end index, that is -4. So -4 is excluded, so it will print values from -6 to -5. So that is why we got py. And then let me erase this. So next, moving on, we have colon -5. So this till the end index -5, I want to print the elements. So this is excluded, right? So from the beginning till the element before the -5 element, that is -6, that is only P will be printed for this. So let's try printing that. So we got P. And then moving on. So here I have my beginning index. So it will start from here, the default value 0. So 0 is to 6 we have. So 6 here is out of range, right? But as slicing is safe, it will consider till the available elements. So, so the available elements will be 0 to 5. So till the end of the string, it will print. So as the max index is 5, it will print till the max index, how many elements are available. So if I try printing this, I'll get Python, the whole string we got. And if I try printing this, first let me erase this. So we have here is to -1. So -1 is your end index. So here is your ending index. And the default starting will be from beginning, right? So from the beginning till the element before -1, the elements will be printed. That is PYTHO. Okay. So that will be your output, PYTHO. Okay. In this syntax, we can work in this way. And then moving on to the fourth syntax. So we can just give square brackets, colon. So here you can see there's no beginning index or there's no ending index. So beginning index by default, it will be 0 or the starting index, and the ending index will be the end of string. So that will be length of string. So if you want to print all the elements in your string, you can just use colon. And you can print all the elements in your string. So my string here is Python. And if I run this, we'll get all the elements. So by default, it will start from here. And by default, the end value will be till here. So that will be length. So default 0 is to the length of Python string will be 6, right? So the elements will be from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So end index 6 minus 1 is 5. So it will print all the elements 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will print all the elements. So by default, the end index will be length. And then moving on to the fifth syntax, which is we'll have a new thing introduced here, that is called step. So the syntax is the string is to the beginning index is to the end index is to the step value. Okay, or you can just say start is to stop, index is to step value. You can remember in any way. Just remember how you can. So it will start from beginning index and till the end index, and it will consider a step value. So step value is just like the interval which we will skip. So in that, this syntax gives range of characters from beginning index to end index by maintaining interval of values with step. Okay. So in this we have 5 rules. So starting the first rule here, beginning index, end index, and step value can be either positive or negative also. So the beginning index or the end index or step values can be either positive or negative. And the second rule is your step value, if it is positive, how we will consider means the elements will be considered from beginning till the end index. And here the beginning should be always, beginning index should be less than end index. And when you take step value will be positive, you should always move from left to right. So if you have some string and I'm taking the step value, a positive value, let's say, you'll always move from left to right. And when the step value is negative, so the beginning value should be greater than your end index. And you should always move from right to left. The same like positive indexing, we'll move from left to right, right? And when we have negative indexing, we'll move from right to left. So without considering that indexing, when you have a step value of positive value like 2, 3, 1, by default it will be 1 value. So if you have 2 or 3, you should move from left to right and check your elements what will come. And if your step value is negative, you should always move from right to left to check what elements are in your range. Okay. So here also, if there is out of range, like if we use end index as 7 or 10, as slicing is safe, your out of range index will be moved to the value available till the last. So here we have 0 to 5 index values, right? So 7 will be shifted as 5 and it will print all your values when you use out of index. So then the fourth rule is when we get elements in forward direction, so the step value will be positive, right? If end index will be 0, when step value is positive, we won't get any output. So if you see, let's take this example and so this is my positive indexes, right? Basically, step value positive means how we will write. So this is S of 0 to, let's say 6 is to, I want my step function to be 2. So basically how step functions will work is, it will consider your starting index, that is your 0, till your end index minus 1. So I want till 5 values. So 0 to 5 I want to print with a step value of 2. So what happens is, first it will consider this value, that is your 0 value, and from this value it will consider the second value. So this is 1 and 2, and then it will move here. So it will print t. And from this value t, it will take the second value 1, 2 and it will print O. So what will be your values? P, T, O. So in this way, your positive step will work, right? But if you give your end index only as 0. So I have, let's say 2 and let's not give any beginning value and I give end value. So when your step value is positive, you should move from left to right always. But you gave your end output only, sorry, end index only 0. So here, so beginning index we don't give anything. If we don't give anything, it will start from beginning only, right? So from 0 only it will start. And if you give end index also 0, it will exclude this 0 and it will print no values. So no values will be before that range, right? So you will get no output. And in the same way, the fifth rule is, first let's learn how negative indexing works. So negative step value. So when I have Python. And then step value is, let's say, from, so I have these values, right? So I want S of some value, let's say -2 to -6 is -1. Okay. So here I have step value negative. So negative means I should move from right to left, right? I should move from right to left always when I have negative value. So I'll start from -2. So my starting index is -2 and my ending index is -6 here. So your ending index will be uh, excluded, and from 2 it will print all the values here. So as I have only one, so it will just, from this value, this is the first value. And from this value, this is the first. If I take, let's say, if I take step value as 2. So -2 is to -6 is to -2, let's say. So here, the step value is -2, right? So firstly, you should consider the sign. As it is a minus value, negative value should move from right to left. And you should skip the, you should take the second element from the element you have. So the first starting index is -2, right? So from -2, I'll start, and then till -6 I'll go. So this is my range. And as your step value is 2 here, so step value is 2. First it will consider the first element, okay? 0 or O. And from that, this is the first element and this is the second element. When coming from backward to forward, so from O, H is the first and T is the second element. So it will take T next. So it will jump one step here. It will leave H and it will skip H and print T. So as your end index is 6, your range will be till -5 only, not -6. And from this T, I'll check the second element. So this is 1 and no more elements we have, right? So it will only print OT. Let's try these rules first. You'll get a better idea of it. So let's say I have Python as a string. As I've told you just now, I'll try printing a positive step value, okay? So S of, I'll print, let's say 0 to 6 is to 2. So my step value is 2. So how will it work is, first it will take the 0th element. So end index is 6. So till 5th it will take, and first it will take P, and then from that 1 to, it will print T, and then it will jump H. So it will skip H and it will print O. So if you see the output, that will be, see, PTO. So P is your 0 element and it will print P first, and it will, as the step is 2, this is 1, this is the first element from P and this is the second element from P. So it will print T next. And from T, it will check the second element. So 1, 2. So it will print O next. After this, it will check again 1, 2. So there are no elements here, right? So it will only print P, T, O. So that is what printed here. So one jump it takes when you give step value as 2. So let's just run this first. So this is what we did now. So 2 is to 5 is to 1. The string is Python. And then we are trying to print 2 is to 5 is to 1. So 1 means there won't be any step values, right? So first from 2, first take your range, okay? From 2 to 2 is to 5 means 2 to 4 only it will take. Okay. So step value is 1. So first it will take your beginning index element. From that it will take the first element. So that is H. And then from here, H element, it will take the first element, that is O. So it will print O. THO, it will print all the values. For suppose you gave step equals to 2. Okay. So if you give the step value as 2, as you can see here, we are doing that. 2 is to 5 is to 2. So the step value is 2 here. So from 2 it will start and end index is 5. So it will take the range from 2 to 4. And first it will print the first beginning index element. And from here, as your step value equals to 2, what it will do is it will check the second element from the element you are pointing right now. So from T, this is first and this is second element. So it will print O next. And there are no more elements after this, so it will not print any. So it will print T and it will print O. It will skip H here. So if you try to print this, you will get T, O. So as you can see here, we didn't give any beginning index. So this will work just like the first step we did. So if you don't give any beginning index, that is 0, right? So in the same way of 0 is to 6 is to 2, this will also work. So that is why we got PTO. It will start from 0 till 5 is your range, right? So from this, the second element, 1, 2, it will print T. From this T, the second element, 1, 2, it will print O. So that way, we'll get P, T, and O. There are no more elements after this, right? To check the step. So we'll get only PTO. So now, in positive step values only, we are considering the negative indexes. Okay. So what we are doing here is, first, the beginning index is -6. Okay, then we have the ending index -2. So we'll consider only till the before element to -2 and we'll exclude -2 element. That is still -3 only we'll take. So as the step value is 1, first it will take P, that is your -6 element, and it will see the first element after P. So first element is Y only, no? So it will take Y next. And then from here it will take the first element. So T. So it will point to T and it will print T. And then from here, the first element is H. So it will print H also. So in that way, you will get P, Y, T, H. So by default, your step value is 1. So that is why it will move one element and it will print. Let me just clear this. And so your value, output value will be P, Y, T, H. Okay. And then here, in place of step value 1, I am keeping step value 2. So what will happen here is, so it is the same range. So from -6, so it will start with -6 until -2 is the end index. So till -3 only it will consider. So this is my range. Now check the step value. So this is positive step. So I should go from left to right. So we have step value of 2. First it will point to P. As it is the first element, it will point to P. And then it will check the second element from P. So 1, 2. It will check the second element, that is T. So output will be PT here as the step is 2. So basically it will jump from P, it will check 1, 2. It will skip Y and it will print T. From here it will jump again 1, 2. But there are no elements here, right? This is out of our range value. So it will skip H here and it will only print P and T. So let's just print it. So we'll get PT. Here we tried the step value of 3. So by default, as you know, the starting index will be, beginning index will be your 0 and end index will be your length. So this is considered as 0 is to 6 is to 3. So your range will be from 0 to your ending value, that is 5, as it is 6 minus 1. And the step function is positive. So it will start from left to right. And we'll take first, the first element you will be taking. And from here I need to find, so from P, I need to find the third element. So that is 1, 2, 3. So H is the third element from P. So from P you should jump 1, 2, 3. So you'll jump 2 letters and it will go for the third element, that is H. So it will print H now. And from H you will again check 1, 2, 3. So there is no element, right? So O and N will be skipped and there is no element. So only it will print P, H. Okay. So if you see, it will only print PH. And after that, we are trying negative indexing. So now we are doing the step values when they are negative. So step value is negative here, right? So we are starting from the values, let's say P by T H O N. So that is from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and -6. And then, as you can see here, the starting index. So as the step value is negative, you will move from right to left. Okay. So you're moving from right to left is important here. As your step is negative, you will move from right to left and the beginning index is 4. So in this way you will move and your beginning index is 4. Okay. So your first element is 4 index value and it will end, the end index is 1. So you will exclude 1 and you will take values from 4 to till 2. So 1 is excluded, right? So that is why you will take from 4 to 2 only. So it will print values from backward to forward. And as we are moving right to left, it will print values from backward to forward. So it will print O, H, and T. So O, that is fourth element, 4 index element, and then H, and then T. And let's print this. So we got OHT. And then moving on. So we have here 7 is to 1. So as I've said, slicing is safe from out of range, right? So 7. So 7 is like out of range in the positive indexing. So first available value is 5 only, right? So what it does is, just a second, it will take the first available value here, that is 5, and it will move from right to left only, and it will take 5 till 1. So 1 is excluded. So till this will print. As we are moving right to left, so right to left, first we'll take N, and then O, and then H, and then T. So in this way, when a step is negative, we'll move from right to left and we'll get the value NOHT. Okay. So the value is NOHT. And then moving on, we have a step value of -2. So here we are skipping some intervals, right? When there is more than, other than 1, we'll be skipping that values. So let me clear this. So here, -2. So a negative indexing, right? So you'll move from right to left. So that is what we know. And from 4 to, the end index is 1 now. So it will end at the 2 value. So we'll print 4, 3, 2. Basically, as your step value is 2 here, first you will print O, and from here you will check the second value from O, that is 1, 2. So you will print T. Okay, so you'll print O, O, H, T. If you write this in a reverse order, it will be easy for you. So first it will print O and then it will skip H from, as it is second element is T. So it will print T. So the value is OT. Okay, this is OT. So we got OT. And in the same way, we can use negative values as our beginning and ending index also. Let's just write it. So here you can see negative indexing. So right to left, and our indexes will be -2, -3, -4, -5, and -6. Okay. So from right to left, you will go. So from -2 to -5 is the index, no? So it will move from -2 to -4 only. And it will print it in the reverse order from backward to forward. That is -2 to -4, it will print. So as step is only one. So from O, this is the first element, so it will print H. So from H, T is the first element, so it will print this. So the value will be OHT. And moving on, if I give -1 to -5, let's remove this. And from -1, I'll end index is -5. So from this side to right to left, I'll start from -1 and till here, my range will be. So as the step value is 1 only, we'll print all the values from right to left, N, O, H, and T. But if we have your step value as 2, so that is -1 is to -5 is to -2, let's say. So the range will be the same. So from -1 to -4, it will consider. But as the step value is 2, first it will point to N and it will print N. So from N, it will check the second element. So that is 1, 2. So it will skip O and it will go to H and it will point to H. So O is skipped. So it will print H. Okay. And from H, it will check the second element. 1, 2. There are no elements in the range more, as this is our range. It will go outright. So it will skip T and there are no elements here. So it will only print N and H. So first let's run these and let's see if we got the correct output. So we got the OHT for this value. And then for this we got NOHT. So the same values we thought. And if I try the step value of print of S is to -1 is to -5 is to -2. So the step value is H2 right here. So if I print that, I'll get NH. So we did the calculation right. So we got NH exactly. So if I want to reverse any string, so for loops or anywhere, if you want to reverse some string, what you should do is you should use the step value of -1. So I have Python only. So I have Python. So minus indexing or minus step value means we'll move from right to left, right? So it will print the values from right to left. So N, O, H, T, Y, P. So if I want any reverse value of the string, I'll just use the default begin and end values and I'll use step value of -1. So by default, I'll get the reverse of that string. So Python reverse is NOHTYP. So in this way, I can get any reverse of strings. And then moving on, if I want the reverse of string with the step value of 2, I can use is colon -2. So what happens is, so it will take values from right to left, obviously, as it is negative. And step value is 2, right? So first it will print N and it will skip O and go to H and it will skip T and go to Y. So that is what you got, N, H, Y. So in the reverse order, you got N, H, Y. And moving on, here I'm trying 0. So when the step value is positive, I cannot have my end value to be 0. In that case, I'll get an empty output. And when your step value is negative, my end index can't be -1. So why that works in that way? Because if we have Python, so this is -1, right? This is -2, -3, -4, and -5. Let's just use this. Okay. So when I give my default beginning index and -1 as ending index and -1 as my step value. So negative step value, right? So negative step value means we'll move from right to left. So by default, your beginning index will start from here. As we're moving from right to left, the beginning index will be here. And ending index also I gave -1 only. So ending index is here. So you should exclude ending index, right? So it will be only your range will be from here to here. So there are no elements here. So you will get empty string here. You will get empty output. So that is why when your step value is positive, you should not give your end index as 0. And step value is negative, you should not give your end index as -1. There won't be any values in your range, right? So you should not give that. And I'm performing some step function. So as it is negative, it will go from right to left, and step value is 3. So first it will take n and it will jump two elements. O and H will be skipped and it will go to 3. So 1, 2, 3. It will print T. And from here it will check the third element from T. 1, 2, 3. So there are no more elements here, right? So it will print only N and T. And same in the positive direction, you are printing. So P, 1, 2, 3, H, 1, 2, 3, there are no more. So PH. And if I try negative indexing and if I give the beginning indexing as 5, you will get, so as this is the max element, like the ending index, so you will get the reversal of the string. Here I have one more string, NEUT. So this is a string and I want to reverse this. So I can use colon -1 and we will get the reversal of that string, that is TUEN. And then we have some string that is literal. So this is a palindrome. Palindrome means when we reverse it also, we will get the same value. So I'm trying to reverse this. So I got still the same value. So L, here L, I will be here. This R will be here. And the second I will be the fourth I. And the first L will be the fifth L here. And when it comes to madam, that is also a palindrome. So reversal of that also will be same. And here we have Malayalam. This is also a palindrome string. So the reversal also will be a same one. So this way we got to learn about strings for today, guys. Tomorrow we will learn about the byte array and range, which are also part of our sequence category data types. So today we learned about string and its operations, and strings are immutable, so you cannot change it. And we've learned about the types of strings, which is single line string data and multi-line string data. And the operations you can perform on string are indexing and slicing. And we also have a string function, which will convert any of your values into a string. So tomorrow we will learn about byte array, and also the range. So that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat box. And if you like our videos, please subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you, guys.